it is, what it do, what it is. Your boy is back to have a very interesting conversation real quick. And I ain't about to waste no time. PlayStation 6. Another PlayStation handheld that could possibly rival the Nintendo Switch. That's what the rumors is happening that's going around this week. And it's like some people were saying it's canceled, and it's all over the place, right? So basically, there's been rumors of PlayStation 6 coming out maybe as soon as next year, like fall. And just off that would piss a lot of people off because the Pro just came out, maybe last year? And these price increases just keep happening. I think that would be a bit of an insult because some people still don't even have PS5s yet. PS5 came out in 2020 and I know people still rocking PS4s. And they can get whatever they can still play whatever comes on there, comes on that system. And then we also got a whole generation of people who really don't even buy games like that. They just want to play Fortnite and all of those free games where you just got to buy skins, where you can just spend maybe $30 to $40 every few months on like a pass or however much one of those passes cost. Yeah. But let's get back to it, right? There's rumors, right, of something called the PS6S. And what that is it's something that's possibly dockable as well. And there was a partnership with AMD, and this is all like alleged. These are just rumors, but a few journalistic websites are actually posting these rumors. So there probably is some truth to some of this, and it's actually newsworthy because you got the Xbox ROG Ally coming out in a few months, and that's priced around maybe 8 something. At the black one, and the white one is maybe 4 or 5 something. I'm actually really excited about that because we are literally about to have handheld Xboxes. And what's mad funny is like 3 months prior, they're like, nah, we canceled it. That's not happening anytime soon. And then like it's getting ready to come out the same year. So imagine if PlayStation 6 comes out next year, but in order for them to keep it, what do I want to say? In order for them to just, mull it over, because they're releasing a new PlayStation this soon, they give you a handheld. And it's probably close to as powerful as a PS5. Imagine that. And, but I want to actually raise a point, right, about something Tim Sweeney said, the CEO of Epic Games. He basically said people need to stop worrying about these companies, the big companies, Nintendo, Xbox, PlayStation. They should stop worrying about making new systems, and they should focus on better optimizing things, because the Unreal Engine 5, there has been a lot of issues across a few games, and he's basically saying developers need to put more time in optimization. So I want to use that as a point. It's just right now we are currently almost 5 years into this generation with the PlayStation and the Xbox, and they already talking about a new one. And on the PlayStation side, wasn't a whole lot of exclusives. Xbox is having a really good year. They ramping stuff up. They putting stuff on PlayStation, and other stuff was always on PC, but they pretty much going multi-platform. Helldivers is now on Xbox, and then they got a Halo partnership. Business is picking up, and I guess they're just trying to learn how to exist in this new era of cross-gen and third-party, but still first-party Xbox stuff. But my biggest issue is really, like, I kind of agree with Tim Sweeney. Like, he's basically saying, it's the developer's fault. Like, Unreal Engine, maybe there is some issues, but if you really pay attention, like, and look at it, a lot of video games will come out and have issues. And it's not really a graphical thing. It's probably optimization depending on the platform. You know, oftentimes there's a game that will come out for all platforms, including PC, and that the optimization on PC be really messed up. Like I'm really worried about Chronos: The New Dawn, which launches the week after this recording, and I'm hoping, and it's a smaller game, so I figured it should be fine. And this is done by Bloober Team. But if it's done well and it works well on PC and it's really, you know, a good game, I will definitely be playing that on here and streaming that on there. And I can't really say, I don't know if that's really on Unreal, I don't know if that's on Unreal Engine 5, but a lot of these smaller games, they tend to have problems as well, but they don't have the money, you know, in these studios to maybe have everybody have a bigger team to be able to pay for play testing and stuff like that so they can iron out those bugs. But then again, if you really look at these bigger corporations who launch games in a very shitty state and then they're like, yo, we just gonna roll out this patch once we get the game out the door. But then you also just have some other games who just never really did well. Because if we talking about it, Tim Sweeney could toot his own horn. He's at Epic. Fortnite is done by Epic. Very few times you hear something bad about Fortnite going on. The only thing bad about it is these kids is addicted and they asking their parents for V-Bucks all the time. You know what I'm saying? So I really think that if we had better optimized games and everything, stop trying to make everything about graphics and we make it more about performance, optimization. And matter of fact, speaking of optimization, I want to make a point because I know I haven't spoken about it on this channel, but as always, I tell y'all, I'm a big Doom fan and I played Doom, the Dark Ages, and man, I did not like the audio mixing in that game. It was terrible. A lot of the times I would hear music chop in and chop out and it didn't seem like it's mixed well. Like say you in a battle that's taking you about 10 to 15 minutes to just push through, and yet there's this one 3 to 4 minute track that keeps looping to get you in the mood, but it's not looped very smoothly. I don't really like that. And then if you want to talk about that stuff like that in a graphical standpoint, people will be falling through the floor. It's not mixing and matching well. I think that we definitely need to focus on optimization. Stop with the graphics and stuff like that, and we need to stop listening to these knuckleheads that just make these fake accounts that keep saying, oh, this game looks like crap when it's made to look a certain way. A lot of people believe that everything is supposed to look realistic, like the NBA 2K players just walking around in Ghost of Yote or an NBA 2K player with a first-person shooter and call it. That don't make no sense, man. We really got to focus on performance. And I'd rather, what I really think, if you're gonna give us a PS6 and a 6S like soon, and whatever the new Xbox might be, I'm not trying to really pick performance or quality. I want better quality. I'm talking minimal 60 frames per second. We still got games that don't run at 60 frames per second like that in this generation. And when there's certain games running at 60 frames per second on the Switch too, and maybe even a steady 30 frames per second, like bigger games, Cyberpunk 2077 and Final Fantasy Rebirth is going to be running, I do believe, at 30 frames per second. And I think we need to figure out the optimization factor so it's more stable, because there's nothing worse than a terrible frame rate. Like imagine playing Final Fantasy Rebirth and it just start getting blurry or it start lagging and stuff like that, when that is such a smooth, crisp action game. You need them frames. And I think we need to shift the argument from, oh man, those graphics, to, ooh, look how buttery smooth this runs on whatever system I'm playing. Because now that I'm on the PC gaming front, I understand how important that is, at least a little bit more. Being able to play something at 120 frames per second is insane. But it's so fun, and it doesn't interrupt, and it's very immersive. It doesn't interrupt your gaming. 6 years is too soon for another PlayStation, when we just got a Pro, and that was already expensive, and the prices for the base PlayStation just went up, and the Pro just went up. Xbox did it before. Nintendo, I don't know if they did it yet, but they're about to do it. I think it's insulting to the gamer for people who just basically bought the PS5, because like I said, people are still playing their PS4s. But people who just bought their PS5, the very next year you putting out a new one. And it doesn't have, and stuff is still struggling to run at 60 frames per second. That gives people less incentive to buy another system. Especially if you're still making almost all of these games on the PlayStation 5 and the PlayStation 6. It was only a few games on the PS5, at least for me, that was worth getting a PS5 for. Stuff like Astro Bot, God of War Ragnarok, and honestly, I do believe Ragnarok was even on PS4. Ghost of Yote, which might be really good. It could just be more another Ghost of Tsushima, or it could just be a great sequel to Ghost of Tsushima. But that's only on PS5, and if that's great, then they got a winner. But Sony wasn't pumping out them exclusives like that this much this generation. They was trying to do new stuff. Concord was a failure. I'm not 100% sure, but somebody just left at Destiny. From the Destiny team. So, they're not pumping out a lot of exclusives when Xbox is pumping out Indiana Jones, Avowed, and Starfield is still only on Xbox. But some of this stuff is just going to keep moving over. They got Forza just a few months ago. People playing Forza on their PlayStation. They just put Gears on there. And I don't think it was platform specific, but the game just launched and it was already over 1 million players for Gears of War Reloaded. So there's something on Game. So a lot of those numbers could be on Game Pass, but I'm sure a good amount of those numbers are on PlayStation, because there's a lot of people I've encountered that people have always wanted to play Gears of War, but they weren't Xbox people. They always just had PlayStation. Now they can play it on PlayStation. And I want all those PlayStation people to know that now that you have been able to join us in Emergence Day and join us in the war against the Locusts, that in those multiplayer lobbies we will have no mercy on you, because you've made fun of us and you've teased us for long. And now you get to step into the Xbox world. I want my cars to go out there and do their thing. We're going to show them how to end tribalism properly. But honestly, I really think that a next-gen system is just not smart yet. We about to get the ROG Ally X. That's going to be like a mid-gen type thing, kind of. You know what I'm saying? We just got the Switch 2. And just the fact that we can get Cyberpunk, Final Fantasy, and other games like that on there, yeah. And then, matter of fact, before I end this, putting out new systems and they possibly not even going to cost as much as the systems that's out now. They're probably going to cost more is insulting, because games are going all the way up to $80. And then there's always been rumors about GTA 6 possibly being $100. Y'all do not want that smoke. Y'all do not need to piss off y'all customers right now. People are already pissed that these prices are increasing. Don't do it to yourselves. Think about it. But I just wanted to come on here and just spit it off the dome. I wanted to talk about this. I'm almost done with school, man, so I'm going to be able to start giving y'all at least 1 to 2 videos a week once I'm done. And I really, really do miss this, getting on here, running my mouth, and especially really, really appreciate you, specifically you who made it to the end of this video and do occasionally enjoy my content and sometimes even my rare streams. But I do want to tell you that on your way out, please go ahead and hit that like button, and then make sure you click that share button, hit the link, and then you share. Share it on all platforms of social media: Facebook, Instagram, Threads, Twitter. I'm gonna always call it Twitter. And I don't know if you can share that on the Top Tick, but yeah, I'm not too familiar with the Top Tick. But share me on all them platforms, man. Let's have a healthy conversation, and if we get these conversations to keep flowing and keep going, I think eventually the devs will see that and be like, all right, let's try to spin it a different way, because there's a lot of discourse online, or we don't really like how everything seems about all of this. But that's it for now, man. I really appreciate y'all for coming through and hanging out with your boy for about 15 minutes or so. Go ahead and pick up them sticks and unpause that game and enjoy the rest of your day. Me, I'm about to go play me some Echo Point Nova. Holla.